Even before we talk of the future, remember I wanted to make a comment. This phenomenon that was a misinformation actually disrupt the structure of the food value chain, like the harvesting. The North Rift people or farmers decided to harvest early, 2 months early.
Yeah.
And recently I was just listening to one of them saying that now what do I do? The moisture content in the maize is still so high and the maize will be rotting with them. What can the government do to help the farmers currently so that we can be having some food, even if even if it will not be enough, but there should be steps to take the food that is there so that they can be dried and stored for future use.
Right.
Back to what GAIN is doing in this. Actually, the mandate of GAIN, or what we work very closely with the government to ensure that we reduce the incidences of malnutrition. In fact, our main objective is a malnutrition-free country, or malnutrition-free globally.
Right.
So what we are looking at is, in the event that the markets that are able to have some foods being sold, we are working with the market vendors, the last mile vendors, especially in Kiambu currently, we are talking about supporting the last mile vendors to be able to store or stock the food, especially the perishables, the fruits and vegetables at the market level. We are working with the markets themselves, the market management, and having clean market that works with storage facilities so that we don't have foods which rot in the market and we are food insecure. Then at the same time, we are training the vendors to be able to be passing information, because sometimes we will find that some people, you go every day you go to the market and you buy only sukuma wiki.
Yeah.
And there are other vegetables, they are the managus, and because they don't know anything about them, they don't consume them or they don't go for them. So we are also working with the last mile vendors at the market to be able to talk with those people, the community or the mothers or whoever buys, to be buying variety of vegetables and how to prepare them, so that we are also able to conserve the nutrients.
Briefly, your parting shots.
Okay. We want to encourage, especially the consumer, to demand for the nutritious foods at household level. Kindly let us not consume what we consume every day from January to December, but be able to diversify. Go to the market, you will find the foods that, or if you're a farmer, diversify your production.
Thank you. Kenyo, your parting shot in about 15 seconds.
What I wanted to say is that consumers play a very big role in the agriculture food systems. And the only way we can transform our food systems is having a paradigm shift from the consumer back to the producer. And also bring in financial inclusivity through cooperatives.
Asante. Judy?
My parting shot would be, let researchers, policymakers, and programmers come down from the ivory tower. I feel like we are speaking to ourselves at this level, but we are not communicating at the grassroots level. As we are telling the farmer to diversify, to what? At what time? The Met department and the information, you know, such kinds.
Yeah. Finally, Dr.
Actually, I have to say that we have an opportunity like never before as a country. Because on one hand, it was said that the next lot of millionaires or billionaires are going to be farmers. And farmers have responded. So the opportunity we have is that there are people who are more than willing to make money out of farming. And that was not there before. On the other hand, you have a government that seems to understand what needs to be done. But it has to be done properly. It has to be outside maize. It has to be food. And it has to incorporate all the elements like Kenyo has said. It's about the seed, it's about the soil, it's about extension. And extension is so important as a parting shot that you have to have all of those components together because you can have a Coca-Cola bottle or whatever soda you have in a desert, but if you don't know how to open it, You either break it and
yeah.
so it's all gone, or you just die of thirst. So essentially, you have people who are willing to come into food production to make money more than ever before. You have a government that intends to do the right thing. We hope it will do the right thing. We need political goodwill and organizations that will provide the necessary information.
Right.
And then we'll be there. In another 10 years, we'll talk about food security and not food insecurity.
Yep. Yes, definitely. Asanteni sana, Honorable James, and you're a former Kiambu governor and also an agricultural expert. Immaculate Nyaugo, Senior Nutrition and Food Systems Advisor at the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, that is GAIN, as well as Judy Ngina, Climate Change Advocate, and Josephat Kenyo, Founder Food COP. Quite pertinent conversations here. I've learned so much, and definitely even the viewer. Hope you've learned a lot. Right now, let's take a look at what is happening in your respective counties, Flora. And even as I cross over to you, Lemuki, I don't know how food secure you are.
I think I am food secure. But what about the Kenyans out there? I think these are conversations that need to be had. Even as we speak of matters climate change, it's we're speaking big terms, but not really reaching out to the grassroots levels. And it's been a great conversation there. And time now to know what is happening in different parts of the country. And we link up with our reporter, Paul Muniu, to give us an update of what you can expect from Mombasa County. Good morning, Paul. If you can hear me clearly, do bring us up to speed on what we can expect from Mombasa County, even as the KCSE enters day 3 countrywide.
Asante sana Lemuke kwa nafasi hii. Nitazungumza kwa lugha ya Kiswahili ukiniruhusu, na county diary yetu ama kile ambacho tumekuandalia tumeweza kuanzisha mapema, na kwa sasa nimeweza kutoka katika hafla mojawapo ambayo waziri wa habari, mawasiliano na vile masuala ya kidijitali ambaye ni Eliud Owalo amekuwa hapa ili kuweza kuzindua rasmi kongamano la wale ambao ni wasimamizi wa uongozi wa masuala ya teknolojia, na vile wa kongamano lingine ambalo ameweza kuhudhuria la bodi ya utumishi wa umma katika county, na ameweza kutaja masuala kadhaa yakihusiana na vile serikali imeweza kujiandaa ili kuhakikisha kwamba inaimarisha zile ambazo ni huduma zake kwa Kenya kupitia njia ya kimtandao, na vile kuweza kubuni nafasi za ajira. Cha muhimu ambacho ameweza kutaja ni kwamba amesema kwamba iwapo
Well, we do apologize for that technical hitch, and of course Paul Muniu will be getting back with update when we rectify that audio. But a lot is happening today, even as the KCSE enters day 3, as well as that tour of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in Belgium and Germany, as well as the President is currently in Saudi Arabia, and that is just so much that we're expecting to happen today. But let us look at some of the feedback from our question of the day, which is that do you support the judiciary's proposal to remove the death penalty from our laws? And I see Chris Ngaruthi says, no, that said, I support decriminalization of prostitution, of homosexuality, and all drugs. I mean exactly that, all drugs, not just the one I like. And Dixon Leanne says, I would wish to ask the CJ if the proposals are in any way related with her tenor theme of social transformation through access to justice. And Moses Sequoia says, not every criminal deserves death as a penalty. Some deserve a second chance so that they can fulfill their mission on earth, which is to commit more crime. Therefore, I support, and that is just some of the feedback. Of course, you can keep on interacting with us. But right now, let's cross over to Naivasha in Nakuru County and link up with our reporter, Willie Dennis Njiru, to update us on what we can expect from that area today. Good morning, Willie.
Good morning, my colleague Limuki. In our studios in Nairobi, it's indeed a hot morning here in Naivasha. As you can see, the glares of the rays of the sun are quite high. But nonetheless, we have to bring our viewers up to speed on the development around this place. We are at Sawela Lodges here in Naivasha, where we are having a national conference, where it is a scientific conference that has brought over heads across the country together to deliberate matters to do with the HIV and how the trends that has been there. And as we speak now, the head of the NASCOP is not yet here, who was supposed to be in our set maybe for 1-2 highlights of the day. But nonetheless, he will be joining us later and he will be bringing us up to speed on the trends. But unfortunately, we have been seeing reports on what has been developing around here in the country in the recent days. Sadly, that our youth and the youngsters, the trends has been going up in the infection, which is not a thing to be called for, and it's quite uncertain. And you remember there has also been other issues that have been emerging about some of these contraceptives, like the condoms. There have been issues to do with them. They are not there in stock. Some of them, they are saying the prices have gone up. There's been so many issues in regard to preventive measures, in regard to the whole issue about this. So it's a whole house. It's almost a 1,000 seating capacity auditorium, and I can assure you that it is almost about 95%, and the guests are still trickling in to discuss and deliberate issues that pertain to this disease, and we all know how it is transmitted. And pertinently, among other things that are being discussed, is to see how there can be more information and ways of reducing issues to do with stigma. A lot of emphasis to the public on awareness on how to reduce some of these effects, how these transmissions has been going on, and especially to curb the rise in our youth and our teenage children who are getting infected day and night. And Limuki, as you can remember, in the recent statistics that have been shared in the recent days, it is quite sad to see that the trends in our youth has been going up, unlike it is on the older cluster there, we have to say. We will be waiting to see what develops from this place, and we will bring up to speed our viewers on the reports from NASCOP. And you remember this NASCOP, it's actually a body that has been very, very vocal and on the front line to ensure that it collaborates with the Ministry of Health to ensure that all systems go to ensure that we, if not eradicate, bring these trends down. From me here in Naivasha, before you wind up your show in Nairobi, Limuki, that is it from me. Sadly, I didn't have the big man to interview, but I believe you got some insights there.
Well, thank you, Willie Dennis Njiro, for that. Now let's have a look at this story, where grief has engulfed in Musunji village in Hamisi sub-county, Vihiga County, after a 17-year-old boy was stabbed to death by his male friend over what has been identified as a love tussle. It is alleged that the Form 3 boy at Captech, a secondary school, met his death after arguing with his rival over a girlfriend. Angry villagers stormed the suspect's home, razing down 9 houses as well as destroying property.
Musunji village in Hamisi sub-county. Residents here are left in shock and pain following the death of 17-year-old Clinton Mukasia, who is said to have engaged in a love tussle with a male rival. Allegedly, the two were eyeing one girl who is said to be at the center of the tussle.
Nilipata mtoto wangu ameanguka, nikaita mtoto hakuitika. Nikaangalia mtoto hakuitika.
Nilikuta kijana kweli mwili yake imesha kata roho. Nguo zile ambazo alikuwa nazo nilijaribu kuzitoa, nikakuta ya kwamba huyo kijana tayari amemtunga hapa na hiyo kisu imeenda kabisa ndani. Na tena amehumwa hapa, hii mzizi karibu ikatike.
The girl's father confirms being aware of the love triangle, but states that his efforts to separate her daughter from the two could not bear fruit.
Siku ya jana nilimuuliza, wewe maneno yenye mimi nimesikia uko na uhusiano na huyo msichana ni ya ukweli, na wewe ni mtoto yangu na wewe ni mtoto yangu? Akaniambia, mzee, mimi sijui hiyo. Na akapanda juu wakiwa na ule kijana mwenye alitunga mwingine kisu. Nikamwambia, kijana, unajua ukiendelea hivi maisha yako haitakuwa mzuri. Ndio akaenda, mimi nikawachana nao, mimi nikarudi. Sasa baadaye ndio nasikia huyo mwenye walikuwa na yeye ametunga mwingine kisu.
Following the murder, angry residents took to the suspect's home, raising down houses as well as destroying property in the home. A section of the villagers here strongly condemning the incident.
Sasa kitu yenye nitaambia tu watu wetu wa triki, vitu zingine tunafaa tuangalie. Mtu mwenye amefanya makosa ili tutile na yeye kuliko kuharibu vitu za after mtu mwenyewe, jamii ya poma. Sasa hiyo ndio makosa kubwa yenye wamefanya sana. Hiyo ni kitendo mbaya.
The murder suspect is already in custody, as well as two other suspects linked to the destruction of property. Hamisi Sub-County OCPD Ruth Langat says that investigations are underway.
Washukiwa wawili wameshikwa, wenye tunahofia uchunguzi inaendelea, na uchunguzi unapokamilika watafikishwa mahakamani. Leo officers kufuatia uchunguzi yao wameweza kurudi pale mahali hiyo tukio ilitokea, wakiwa wamesaidiana na wananchi na area chiefs na assistant chiefs, wameweza kupata ng'ombe. Tumeweza kurecover ng'ombe 6 na ndama 4 na mbuzi 1 ya kike.
Arnold Adidi, TV47, Vihiga.
Well, thank you, Arnold Adidi, for that story. And that story now marks at the end of this edition of Morning Cafe today. And just a quick look at our diary and what to expect to be happening today. Trying to get hold of it. Okay, and the Departmental Committee on Defense Intelligence and Foreign Relations will this Wednesday have a meeting at the County Hall mini chamber to commence the vetting of the 27 ambassadorial nominees starting from 9 a.m. today. And the CS Moses Kuria, who is a CS for Ministry of Public Service, Performance and Delivery Management, will inspect the inaugural NYS ceremonial parade, which is expected to unveil the NYS re-engineering blueprint. And also KCSE enters day 3 today, with the students expected to take the home science practicals. And Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's tour in Belgium and Germany enters day 2, as is expected to visit the Global Gateway, to attend the Global Gateway Forum, and later on extend his travel to Germany for other engagements on matters coffee, climate change, and renewable energy, among others. And also this week, we mark the Global Media and Information Literacy Week, with the year's theme being media and information literacy in digital spaces this year.
Right. Quite a packed day it is today.
Yeah.
And most definitely I've learned a lot on the whole matters of food insecurity and what we should really be having.
Yes.
Quite, and just to pick up from even the former Kiambu governor talking about even before even talking about having food reserves in counties, we should first have a national strategic food reserve in the country before now getting into the devolved units.
Okay. And I remember there was a story about adding cassava
oh, yes.
to the maize meal. Yeah. So that the flour that we eat as our staple food actually includes more than just maize. And I think it is a very interesting discussion because there's all this whole thing about fortifying even some of the products that we have. Of course, if we mix it with maize, it does make sense, don't you?
Oh, yes. But then are people ready to... people like us who are really always into
Would you know the difference? Would you know?
Oh, yes.
Well, I'd be interested to see that happen, because I hate ugali as the way it is right now, so maybe it's some cassava.
You would love it.
Don't say that loudly.
Oh, let's see.
Yes, and as we continue with our countdown to Christmas Day, 61 days to Christmas, yes, adding some cassava, some flavor to the ugali or to any other food that you'll be eating is definitely something to look forward to. Yes, this is where we anchor for this morning. This has been Morning Cafe. Thank you for joining us and keeping us company from 6 a.m. My name is Fred Ndimuli.